the Tories said I shouldn't come and speak to you today. But friends, I am proud to stand with you. I am proud to stand with you because we know there is an alternative. We come here today from all walks of life, from all classes, from all backgrounds, from all generations. And let me say to you, as I look across this historic park at the sea of faces, it is a profoundly moving moment. We come in the tradition of those who have marched before us. The suffragettes who fought for votes for women and won. The civil rights movement in America, who fought for equality and won. The anti-apartheid movement, who fought the horror of that system and won. Our cause may be different, but we come together today to realize our voice, and we stand on their shoulders. We stand on the shoulders of those who have marched and struggled in the past. Our struggle, friends, is to fight to preserve, protect and defend the things we value. Now we know what this government will say. This government will say, this is a march of the minority. They are so wrong. David Cameron, you wanted to create a big society. This is the big society. The big society united against what your government is doing to our country. We stand today not for the minority. We stand today for the mainstream majority of Britain. The midwives from Kingston here standing up for their maternity services. The Sure Start workers from Hampshire standing up for their children's centre. The small business owners from Liverpool standing up for jobs. The teachers and students standing up for the next generation and against the tripling of tuition fees. We speak today for the mainstream of Britain because we are the mainstream of Britain. And today we recall the greatest moments in our history. We remember what happened after the Second World War, when we faced enormous challenges, but we built a country fit for the future. The National Health Service, homes fit for heroes, the welfare state. Out of the shadows of that time, we built a better society. Every one of us, friends, knows this country faces difficult times. But we know too, there is a different way. We hold to simple truths. We need jobs to cut the deficit. And I say today, unemployment is never a price worth paying. The next generation to whom we owe the promise of Britain should never have their hopes and dreams sacrificed on the altar of dogmatic deficit reduction in our country. I believe there is a need for difficult choices and some cuts, but this government is going too far and too fast, and they are destroying the things we value in our country. The libraries, the Citizens Advice Bureau centres, the children's centres. And where is the fairness? They say we are all in this together. But how can it be right to be closing children's centres when the banks have it as business as usual? How can it be right, while the cost of living goes up for ordinary families, that the banks get their taxes cut? That's why we should have a bonus tax on Britain's banks. Friends, we are not talking about the politics of envy. We are talking about the politics of fairness. That is what we believe in as a movement. And we do not simply reject the government's policies. We reject the narrowness of their vision, the injustice of their ideology, and the poverty of their aspiration for this great country of ours. They are, let's be clear, they are the dividers, not the unifiers. We reject their attempt to divide Britain. I grew up in the 1980s. This government is taking us back, setting private sector against public sector, setting those in work against those on benefits, setting North versus South, setting some families against another. I say to David Cameron, the hundreds of thousands of people here reject your attempt to divide our country. It falls to us, friends, to be the unifiers of this country. That is why it's so important that this is a peaceful protest and we gain public support. A protest remembered for its cause and its promise. It falls to us too to be the optimists. We do need to cut the deficit, but we must protect families. We must protect the living standards of families up and down this country. We must protect the promise of Britain for the next generation of our young people. And we must preserve the things we value. The libraries, the CABs, the children's centres, the things that are part of the fabric of our communities. And you know, we know from generations before us, it is not just politicians who make change happen, it is people who make change happen. And so let us say, from today in Hyde Park, when people ask, who will stand up for our National Health Service? Let us say, we will. Let us say when people ask, who will stand up for our children's centres? Let us say, we will. When people ask, who will stand up for the hopes and dreams of the next generation in Britain? Let us say, we will. And when people ask, who will stand up for the mainstream majority in Britain? Who is the voice of the mainstream majority in Britain? Let us say, we are. Friends, 50 years ago, Martin Luther King said, the arc of the moral universe is long and it bends towards justice, but only if people bend it that way. You are those people standing up for the mainstream majority in Britain, standing up for justice, standing up for fairness, standing up for change. I thank you for your commitment, and we will prevail. Thank you very much.